My favorite way to begin a day is to hold a hot drink in my hand, curl my feet up under me, and stare out at water or trees and breathe. It's like a soothing blanket over my body and mind. I've been lucky to spend a lot of time near water in my life. I grew up less than 10 miles from the ocean as the crow flies, and have spent lots of time wading and swimming and playing in the brooks, rivers, lakes, and ponds of New England. As a kid, I went to geeky summer day camps where we learned how to identify plants and animals by their scat and tracks, and about the give and take between water and land. Near my house is a decommissioned reservoir surrounded by wetlands shaped by beaver. The beavers have built huge systems of stepped dams that remind me of photos in my social studies textbook of rice paddies on the mountainsides in China. These dams slow water flow, build eddies and places for fish to lay eggs and for birds to go fishing. They are also vital to flood control in the watershed, as marshes and swamps act as enormous and life-saving sponges during spring melt and big storms. Across the country, our major rivers used to have four-legged and furry engineers that built networks for flood control. And now, with most of their work in our region dismantled, we have regular and damaging flooding. I've been thinking about beavers and ponds and marshes as I reflect on resilience in times of great stress, ecological and societal. Yesterday, my husband Tad and I attended a meeting in Lenox with a number of local people and organizations that serve immigrant communities in the Berkshires. I was hoping to learn more about how organizations were working together and who the connectors are. More than 70 people were there, and it was standing room only. The good news is that there are many ways that we can help by connecting with organizations that have strong systems, are planning for increasing their capacity, and have built trust in the community. A couple examples are that our food pantries are doing more home deliveries and building the capacity to cover more. CHP is connecting volunteers with community members to prepare paperwork and plans for their families if they or another family member are detained. The meeting was an important opportunity to make connections. I met we broke into little groups of 8, and within that group, I think 6 of them were neighbors here in Housatonic by chance. We got a chance to meet our neighbors in new ways. We've spoken before about how some of the most important social justice work we do is building relationships with our neighbors, building trust and connection. That is still true, and it is ongoing in our community. We fight disconnection, isolation, violence, and oppression with the same building blocks of relationship. My home is on land that was once a very tall mountain, then scraped off and covered in glaciers and forest, then farmland and a carriage road, and now a mix of woods and fields. Our yard is ringed by enormous and beautiful shagbark hickories. In the impressive wind that once brought Victorians out to our hill to escape the smoky cities, the trees now bend wildly, dancing and creaking in the cold this time of year. When the air is still, it's easy to think of these trees as immovable and unbreakable. But they're just plants, strong and ancient, but plants all the same. They are able to bend and not break because of their deep and expansive root systems underground, giving food and strength. Their roots also connect the trees with one another and with other plants and animals so they can communicate in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Out in the human world, folks are wrestling with and sometimes getting stuck in questions like, should I be doing something more or different? And the always hard, what's going to happen next? It can be hard to hold. Sometimes folks are responding with compassion, care, and connecting across difference, and sometimes with temper and judgment and edge. For those with a trauma history, the videos of officers using the language of abusers, the violence of random assaults, the language of slave catchers and Nazis being shared by government officials, and now the release of the text of more of the Epstein files. It's a minefield of potential triggers and pain of not only individual, but generational traumas. Of course, folks are not always at their best or able to manage all their worries and feelings. Sometimes things come up and out in ways we didn't expect. Sometimes we react in ways that are outside of our own normal responses or what we might intend. When we are overwhelmed and scared, sometimes we need to hear the things we already know intellectually, but that are hard to remember in the moment. So for all of us, me included, I'm just going to say a few things out loud. Number one, we need to put on our own oxygen masks first. That will mean different things for different people. Maybe it means getting enough sleep. It almost always means drinking more water. And it means tending to our bodies and hearts for the long term. Like the swaying shagbark hickories near my house, we need to tend to our roots so we bend in the gale and don't break. 2, it is okay to take breaks. We need to find moments of restoration and healing for ourselves in times of stress and fear. This is a marathon, not a sprint. 3, laughing and joy are not only okay, they are necessary. In the face of hate and violence, laughter and joy help us ground in our shared humanity. We are working to help each other so that everyone has the opportunity to live their lives and be free. And finally, without the scaffolding of self-care, which serves us like life-saving dams and marshes, when the storms come, we will erode and sweep away to the sea. Self-care is part of the work of justice-making, as is compassion and grounding our work in love. This is a serious time, a time of change and upheaval, a time of rebuilding networks of care and accountability that, like our wetlands, have been tattered and diminished across our country as we have grown more isolated, siloed, and disconnected from our local communities. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Honor our connections to one another and our earth, which sustains us. On this first day of Black History Month, we can remember that in the last 250 years, our justice system has never been equally applied to all. And we can take the next steps toward restoration. First, we deepen relationships and trust across communities. And then we get to work together. So may it be, and amen.